Welcome to the InterViews podcast.
Prima attenzione, Bobo anticipato, palla vagante, mette giù, Mercato, il tiro,
Welcome, Interisti, to episode 158 of the InterViews podcast, the official podcast of SempreInter.com. We are here to just hang out. You know, it's international break. No Inter, but we do have Interisti playing in all these internationals all across the world. So we figured let's jump on, talk a little bit about Italy, our team, because it would be impossible to not cover the subject, especially after the game that we witnessed today. And then we'll get into some of the things that you guys were interested in us covering while we have a little break from the team. I want to kick it over to Gianni before we dive into that stuff, because I think he has some important things he wants to discuss with you guys and get off his chest. So as always, I'm one half your co-hosting duo, Alessandro Raffa, and my co-host, Johnny Paterno. Take it away.
Nah, appreciate it, man. Like, I did just want to come on here. After the match today, I got a phone call from my mom that they were rushing her to the ER with a little bit of a health scare. Still don't have really any update, but I do just want to say, I was getting worked up about the game. I was getting upset. I was feeling all kinds of stuff and emotions and all that. And, when you get a phone call like that from someone, I mean, listen, I'm sure everyone cares about their mother. My mother is my world. She is the greatest human being in my life, the most caring and selfless person that I've ever met and come across. And I'm sure everyone feels the same way about their own parents, their mothers. But she just, she's just an incredible human being. And that is very, like, hearing that, it puts a lot of things in perspective. A lot of the things that I allow myself to get angry over, in the grand scheme of things, Italy could have lost that game 10-0. But if it meant my mom is okay, I really should not care, like, what happened in that. So all I want to say is to anyone with your loved ones, with parents, grandparents, children, don't take time with them for granted. Now that I'm in a bit of a waiting state, waiting to hear an update, waiting to know what is going on, it is it's really scary. And the reason I'm doing this is because if I don't talk about something, if I don't keep myself a little distracted, I might go insane. And I don't know what that would be like and how, I just know that would be unhealthy for me. So, just want to say appreciate your loved ones. If I know in my family too, that if there is any disagreements or things that to maybe just squash those things and just think about how precious life is and how short our time is with our loved ones. I read something even today really about, when you move away from your parents, which I have done for quite some time, you're only going to see them maybe two times a year for maybe 30 years. So that means you're really only going to see your parents probably 60 more times in their life. And it's like just a very humbling thing to think about. And it's like almost makes me want to make sure I take advantage of that and maybe even see them more than that. But anyway, let's hop into this game. I do got a lot of stuff that I still want to say about this. And just thank you, Alessandro, for letting me, get that out and get that off my chest. And I hope, to anyone who listens that it maybe touches you in some way too.
Yeah. I think it's a super important thing to say, not only for what you're dealing with right now, and obviously anyone who listens to this podcast or fan of the podcast, we do put a lot of time into it, and I can say, as your co-host, I know how much time you put into it, especially on the back end, that a lot of people don't see that. So I know not only for myself, we'll be praying for your family. I know the InterViews pod listeners that do appreciate all the work that you put in. They'll be praying for your family as well. So we'll say those prayers, and I she'll be okay.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So, what a game. What what an international break. Johnny, if I told you we'd suffer this disgusting loss to Udinese, but we were about to go into an international break where we'd watch our beloved Italy score 10 goals over 2 matches. You feel like you'd be pretty happy about that, but I don't know any Nazionale fans that are feeling good after these 2 games, because it was rough all around. All around. Game 1, you don't score those 5 until the second half, where Estonia completely falls apart. And this game, you have Manor Solomon looking like he's, Messi out there. In the 89th minute, the score is 4-4. You win the game 5-4 off of like a goal that, if we can call the own goals on Italy's side flukes, you can call this Tonali goal strike from distance, where it just goes through a bunch of bodies. Keeper doesn't see until the last second, and it's kind of fortunate that Italy gets out there with a 5-4 victory. But the first 2 games of the Gattuso era, despite 10 goals for the Tricolore, how are you feeling about the state of this team?
I'm not too happy with it. I think that it's very worrying to see the things that are taking place there. I think a lot of the things that Gattuso did today were wrong. I think that there were a lot of changes that were made from the match against Estonia that were unnecessary. To switch formations the way he did in such a short time is pretty disgusting. And I was talking about it actually with one of, the sporting director really for the Las Vegas Lights. We were watching the game together. Pretty much everybody in the office is pretty much Italian in some way, shape, or form. So we were all wearing our, Azzurri kits. We shut down the office for a couple hours to watch the game. And if you would have looked at it, right, we've played 4 matches so far, and you would have told me that, we were going to allow 7 goals in those 4 matches. I was curious as to when was the last time, if ever, have we allowed that many goals. And I just pulled up really the last 3 World Cups that we've qualified for. But if you look at our 2002 World Cup qualifications, 8 games, 16 goals for, 3 allowed. You look at 2006, 10 games, 7 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss, 17 goal for, 8 goals allowed. Okay, so 8 goals in 10 games, I could live with that. 2010, 10 games, 7 wins, 3 draws, 18 goals for, 7 allowed. We've done that in just 4 matches right now. What was used to be our, bread and butter, which was our defensive ability, our ability to keep the ball at the back of the net. I mean, you look at that 0-2 team. That 0-2 team is probably better than the 0-6 team. And had it not been for Byron Moreno, we probably would have gone back-to-back if you really look. Vieri, we got knocked out in the round of 16. Vieri was the leading goal scorer in that World Cup. Anyway, I think he ended up being tied with Ronaldo and Klose, if I'm not mistaken. I may be mixing up the World Cups, but the way that we are performing currently and the porous defense, the player selection, it's embarrassing. It really is. This is not the Italy I remember growing up with. I'm sure it's not the Italy you remember growing up with. I'd say the same thing from most of our listeners. This is not what they're accustomed to. And I know I'm going off on a rant here, and I probably don't know how I'm going to tie it all together, but I am just going to say that it's very disheartening to see that this is how things are being played out. And, the coach from Israel said that they believed that they could, get something from this match. When, if ever, has any team, and no offense to the rest of the teams in our group, but any of these teams ever had the thought that, hey, we can take something off the Italians? Ever. Before maybe the last, I'd say maybe 10 years, really. That's embarrassing. And to give up 4 goals to Israel in the manner that we did, even if it is 2 of them being own goals, and we're actually lucky because the Donnarumma own goal, in my opinion, was not a foul. And other people who watched it agreed. Our director of scouting thought it wasn't a foul. Our head coach thought it was not a foul. The player really just stood his ground, and Donnarumma went for and I don't know how you punch it backwards into your own net. I've never seen that in my life. We got pretty lucky. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing to touch on is the lack of defensive solidity. Is it a personnel problem or a mentality problem? You could say both, but I have a feeling that a backline of, Bastoni, Calafiori, Alessandro Buongiorno, he did play, against Cagliari. It was in the 68th minute, but maybe enough minutes in his legs to give us 45. I don't know why he's not part of this why he wasn't part of this roster. I think he should have been. But I think that there are talented enough personnel where it shouldn't look this bad defensively. For me, it is 110% a mentality issue where A, you either fall asleep, or B, once you start getting put under pressure, it's like they make mental mistakes. They don't tighten up in a good way, where that is all we have ever known. Johnny is you can put us under pressure, but we know how to handle pressure. This team does not look like it knows how to handle pressure whatsoever. And there are some players on Israel that have, a little bit of techers like Gluck and Solomon, but not that they're dunking.
We should be struggling with.
No. Yeah. It's a very strange position to be in. I think with Gattuso, I wasn't that worried about it going into it because international is different than club. International, it's about finding a way to get your best 11 on the field in a formation and a tactic that is balanced and keeping the players motivated. I can't say that he did any of those things. I can't say that he he checked any of those 3 boxes. Maybe the motivation in the second half against Estonia to really put a stamp on it, fine. But today was not that whatsoever. I don't feel like Italy's best 11 has taken the pitch these last 2 games. And I don't feel like the system is really balanced.
Listen, I agree with everything you just said. We definitely did not play our best 11 by any means. Now you could say, Akanji picked up a knock, so we had to switch the formation. Look, what worked for you in the Estonia game, a back 4, that seems to be the way to go. I don't think the back 3 is the right way to go, especially with there being a lack of 1, cohesion, 2, consistency from these players. And there's some guys that just shouldn't be a part of this team that are still getting key minutes.
The best back 3 in terms of personnel that I think is, 3 amazing defenders, Bastoni, Buongiorno, and Calafiori. The problem, they're all left-footed.
Yes. And that's why I wouldn't want to play a back 3 because of that. I do agree. I think those are the best back 3. I would actually want to see... Look, no disrespect to Di Lorenzo, but that man is finished. He is cooked, overcooked, however you want to look at it. It was just not a good performance from him by any means today. Mancini was all over the place. I just don't understand how you looked at your defense and you thought, yep, Calafiori, you're going to sit this one down. We're going to play Mancini. Anyone who's a Roma fan is going to disagree, and I really don't care. But Mancini is absolutely the worst defender we could be bringing to the national. I would actually take Gatti over him, and Scalvini I also would bring instead of Mancini personally. Take away the own goal from Bastoni, which, unfortunate, he was the best defender by miles, and he was recovering many times for Mancini leaving space, Mancini leaving his man. I forgot which. I think it was the second goal. Yeah, the goal that gave Israel the lead.
Parrots.
Mancini is cutting towards the post for no reason. I have no idea what he's doing. He allows, I don't even remember the guy's name,
I think it's
he allowed
Parrots. Yeah.
Peretz, yes. He allows Peretz to come in, and Bastoni has to come across the face of goal, but from his position to try to get in the way. I just don't get it. Him, Locatelli should not be there. I don't know why Rovella's even on the team if you're not going to play him, because say what you want. Maybe you don't like him for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason would be. It would make no sense. But Rovella is leaps and bounds better of a defensive midfielder than Locatelli ever is. Like, I don't even think that there should be a Juventino in the starting 11. Maybe Cambiaso if you want to go to a back four. I actually think if you had Cambiaso, Bastoni, Bongiorno, and maybe Bellanova, that's your best back four. Although I still think that there's some things that Bellanova has to iron out to really be a force for us. But I do think that going forward, he actually offers much more than Di Lorenzo can. But anyway, to get the formation completely wrong today, it felt like that they were not comfortable playing. If you look at the first 20 minutes, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare the way that we were set up. And look, there was no sense of direction and just players kind of filling space and trying to do things that they're not accustomed to. People want to complain about Barella's performance, and listen, I'll say it wasn't great by any means, but he is trying to do a lot to make up for what Locatelli is not doing.
There were moments,
plenty
moments.
But anyway, it's very concerning, when you see these games play out the way, like, we did not deserve to win today. We really didn't. And I'm happy we got the win. We definitely needed it for our, chances to be able to hopefully get to the playoff. I mean, right now, Norway hasn't even played yet, and they're up 3 points. I don't think Moldova is going to be able to steal anything, and if they do, thank goodness. But chances are Norway's going to make a 6-point gap, and we're going to be fighting for our lives just to get to the playoffs right now.
Yep.
So we need to figure it out fast, and I just don't know if we're going to be able to. I don't. Listen, we'll get into. There's something else I want to say about Gattuso. We can get into that, but I'll let you, keep going.
No, I just go back to this like best 11 thing. For you, what is the more difficult game, Estonia or Israel? Because I thought today was obviously the more difficult game. Yet this is the one where we made changes that didn't need to be made, with Mancini coming into the team. I didn't see Calafiori injury news, but it's possible that, he was hurt. If I'm being honest, like, Politano scored a goal. I know he works hard, he fights hard, but Orsolini can't get in there over Politano. Why? I saw Solomon spin Politano like he was nothing.
Twice.
If that's twice, if that's, if he's out there because he tracks back or works a little bit harder than Orsolini, I mean, the result's still going to be the same. Like, why is it not him out there? Cambiaso, same thing with Cambiaso, and we didn't even get to see Bellanova over these two games. Like, he can't deliver something from the wings when you're dealing with Ken in the middle, Retegui in the middle, potentially Pio Esposito coming on. Like, Bellanova, his ability to get to the byline and deliver a cross doesn't factor in.
Doesn't excite you?
Go ahead.
No, I'll go ahead. I'll remember what I want to say.
I was just going to say, like, you have Bellanova on one side doing that, and you have the delivery from DiMarco on the other side. Like, it's not time to maybe put in, you have Retegui, Ken, Esposito, like, you have players that can bully people. Like, that's not part of the strategy. Like, Politano's in there because he can cut inside, so can Orsolini. Like, I don't really, strategically, I think there were different options. It's easy to say in hindsight, but I don't know. I don't need to be. I saw a tweet from All Things Brazil today that was like, is Rodrigo going to make the World Cup squad? And meanwhile, we have a 30-something-year-old Politano starting for us every chance we get. It's my stomach, tightens up.
Listen, it's frustrating to see. I mean, look, yeah, he got on the score sheet, and you could say he played better than Orsolini with his cameo. I was not actually thrilled with the way Orsolini played today. I actually expected a little bit better, but I'm also going to cut him some slack because he just doesn't really get the minutes anyway. And I don't understand why, when you're trying to defend a lead, you would take off Retegui and bring on Maldini. What has he actually done to deserve a place in the national team? Can somebody please tell me, what am I not seeing? Do they actually think Paulo is going to like give him some powers and he's going to turn into this like super player all of a sudden? Don't get it. Don't understand why he was actually brought on. And if you look back, he was the guy that committed the foul that led to the free kick that ended up being the goal to equalize at 4-4. You just can't be doing that at this level, especially when you're not really offering anything going forward to begin with. I just think that you've been a complete mess. And when you see guys like Pio not getting an opportunity to come in, you see guys like Rovella not getting an opportunity to come in, Calafiori, Bellanova, but somehow, Venezuelan Daniel Maldini is able to get in there. And yes, I'm going to say that because of his mother, and I don't really care what his last name is. He's just not good enough for the national team. This is where we've fallen off, really. When these are the caliber of players that are able to get into not only the team, but also get minutes in this team. It's crazy. And I never would have thought that this is where we would be. I thought because we had this wealth of midfield talent that we would be able to control a pitch and control a game, and then maybe be able to, rely on some defenders to be able to keep clean sheets. And when we have supposedly, this generational goalkeeper in Donnarumma, who I thought was not good at all today. Not saying that he's not generational, but I'm just saying you expect better performances from a goalkeeper of that caliber, especially when you have guys like, Di Gregorio, who are left at home, who I also think could do a job for this team. I really do. I think Meret should not be there. It should be Di Gregorio. In fact, I think Di Gregorio should be the backup over Vicario because of how poor he is on corners and set pieces. But it's just, it's frustrating to see the fact that it's crazy because we as fans, we sit home and we criticize and we get upset over who gets in, who gets picked, who gets started, whatever. But it's not just one or two fans or you and me, agreeing on this. You look at Twitter, almost everybody's agreeing with this. So what is it that Gattuso, Bonucci, Buffon, and Gravina are seeing that call for these guys to get in that we, as an entire footballing nation, don't agree with and are not seeing? And then when they actually do go out there and perform, it's just what we thought, as bad as we imagined. I don't understand how these guys get to these positions of power and are able to be highly influential for this national team, meanwhile having the same stagnant set of results year in and year out, where, I think, honestly, the worst thing that happened to us was us winning the Euros, because I think it gave this leadership false impression on what this team is capable of. Because if you look at it now, it is not the same level of play, and these guys are just scared. You have guys who are playing key minutes for Champions League level squads, yet they go to the national team, and it's like almost like they don't care, or they are scared to put on the shirt, and they don't wear it with pride. So,
yeah, I think there is a mentality that is holding over from the big disappointments of the last several campaigns, that they can't seem to shake it. Also, no matter who's out there, right? And you could say like, okay, then the personnel is not good enough, but it's I don't know how many teams are going to the World Cup, but it's a hell of a whole lot, and Italy can't find a way to get in there. It just doesn't seem believable.
Not even in there, but we have to go to a playoff every single time. We should not be struggling with Israel. Norway, listen, I give them credit. They are a strong team, and yes, I think they're a footballing nation that is improving. But we, Italy, should not be. We could maybe draw them or have tough wins, but we should not be finishing behind Norway. And it's just an indictment on what this leadership has done to this national team. And like we can sit here and talk about the same things over and again. The inability to develop youth, the inability to integrate the youth into the first team, the unwillingness to try out youth players within the club level so that they can develop and turn into players that can have an influence on the national team. It seems to be we are the only country that is struggling with this. Other countries are not afraid to throw out their teenagers out there and give them key minutes to allow them to grow and understand the system. And look, I know Germany is actually slowly taking a step back. They're not really the same footballing nation that they were. But if you look at what they did in the early 2000s, where they literally gutted the whole program, but made it a universal mission to get every level of the German national team, from youth all the way to senior team, to get on the same page, to work in the same system, to be able to grow these players and get them to understand what it is that'll be expected from them once they get to the senior level. I think that was influential for them to eventually get to their World Cup and win it themselves. And you saw that class of players who started from the youth level and did it all the way up were able to win that trophy. I think that if we want to get to that, we need to do the same type of thing.
Yeah. They've had multiple, changes of voices in the room at this point. So, someone has to take a look at the personnel and say, this is not the best 11 that I could be putting out there, or this is not the most effective 11 that I can be putting out there. Mm-hmm. I don't mind the two in the middle, Barella, Tonali, and then Rovella and oh my god, I'm blanking. Who was it?
Not sure.
Oh my god, I'm blanking. Not freaking not Locatelli. I'm forgetting who I was thinking of in the middle, but they can handle those shuttler roles. Bellanova outright, Cambiaso on the left with Di Marco overlapping. That could work for me. Can Retegui up top, maybe Pio for a period of time. I don't know exactly what this 11 should be, but I just know that this is not it. And I think Estonia second half there were some good things done, but it's pretty depressing times. Mm-hmm. The results 6 points from the 2 games, so they're alive. Somehow they're alive, but it doesn't look great. All right, let's shift over to Inter. There's a bunch of things that you guys wanted to touch on, but I think we have to start with the Mercato is over. Everything's been said about this Mercato, right? I don't think we need to give grades or anything like that, but let's just touch on the last move that we haven't spoken about that occurred, which was Pavard out, Akanji in. What makes this the right move and what makes it the wrong move for you?
That's a great question. For me, what makes it the right move is you got rid of a player who was rumored to not want to be there. Mm-hmm. And as good as he is, look, I'm not going to knock anything. I think Pavard is one of the more important players in terms of defensive ability. He's definitely an upgrade on what Bisek offers in terms of defensive stability. But to keep people who don't want to play for your club, I don't care how good they are. If Lautaro said he wanted out, I'd want him out. I wouldn't want to keep people who don't want to be at Inter. And that negativity and that mindset can be a cancer and can spread. And, I do think that it's pretty interesting that, that we're seeing more and more rumors about Hakan. And not just from the Italian media, but also, I believe it was the sporting director from Galatasaray or
it was
the
their
coach.
Freaking coach.
It was their coach, yeah.
Former Inter player as well.
I forgot he was an Inter player. Look at that. Thank you for the history lesson. But to have that, come out and be said, it makes it even worse. Like, to me, as much as I don't like Mkhitaryan, it's almost like you have to go back to the 3 that worked for you in the first game and ride that out and leave a guy who's disgruntled, who is difficult and clearly wants out, You could say that they squashed the beef between him and Lautaro. Fine. But that doesn't mean that changes that the guy wants to be out and go to play for his favorite club. And listen, I'm all for that. Like, if you love a team, go play for the team that you love. Like, I think it's a great way for any player to end his career. But I do think that we need to ship him out before that turns into more negativity, or other players starting to share that same sentiment and wanting out, and or being disgruntled that he's still there and he's still allowed to have a voice in that locker room if it's going to be negative. It kind of makes you wish that Brozovic was still around, because I think that would also give him a bit of a reality check, in the sense that now there is someone who is at the same caliber of player who can have the same level of influence in a match, and maybe not do it from a set piece standpoint or a penalty kick standpoint, but he's still a phenomenal.
He would dominate in what Chivu wants to do. He would be the perfect midfielder. Can play in a 2, can play in a 3, engine until the end of time, can play the ball quickly forward. Fuck.
Like, nobody runs as much as he does. Nobody. Although you are starting to see a little bit of that with Sucic. Just saying,
he has beaten his record. Shout
out the Croatians. But yeah, I think that he's someone that needs to also be moved on from. But bringing in Akanji, look, we all wanted him a few years ago when he was leaving Borussia Dortmund and he ended up going to Man City. I don't think it's too little too late with him. I still think that he is a high-quality player. Yes, the injuries are a concern, but you had the same issue with Pavard, and you were okay with that. So I don't know why people are so up in arms that Akanji's here and all this stuff. And what he does allow to is another thing that Chivu wants, is to be able to play the high line. He is great in the center. I think that we are going to see a level of solidity that we have been clamoring for. I'm okay with it. People say it's a sidestep, and yeah, maybe it is. It's not like one is kind of greater than the other. I do think that Akanji might be a little bit better on the ball in terms of playing it and finding finding his teammates to start counters. But in terms of defensive ability, I think maybe it is a wash. Maybe I don't want to sound biased because he's here, but maybe I'd give a little bit of an edge to Akanji. If you just look at the numbers historically with him in terms of tackles per 90, duels in the air, stuff like that. Akanji is a bit of a better defender. Maybe not as handsome. I'm sure that's what some people are complaining about. Because Pavard definitely gets the handsome tax, but I don't think that it's as big of a problem as others are making it out to be. So I'm excited to see what he can do, and I can't wait. I'm assuming he's going to start. In the derby. I really am.
Yeah. If it's Bisek Acerbi, that would scare every Interista. I am more in the positive camp than the negative. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Who would have thought that?
Hey, I was positive with you.
Let's get the negative out of the way from for a second here. I think that a Pavard, Akanji, Bastoni backline would have been a very, very exciting thing to see.
For sure.
And when you look at how little came in terms of the money, like it was basically a straight swap, Akanji for Pavard. You feel like you could have made this move a long time ago. Maybe had more in your coffers to get another defender, and why this had to be the deadline day deal, that's frustrating. And missing out on a potential beast of a backline in Pavard, Akanji, Bastoni is frustrating. The positives, exactly what you said regarding the attitude. If he was a problem, then he was a problem. I didn't see that in the first game. In the first game of the season, I thought they all looked pretty happy with each other. Pavard was celebrating, all the goals, like they were all hugging each other. It didn't seem to be an issue. But obviously, given how much discussion there was around Pavard, a player who, I know he wasn't at his best last year, but he did show signs that he wasn't completely falling off the map, right? This wasn't like a glaring red flag like you have with some other players on the pitch where it's like, oh, you need to get rid of this guy off your squad. He's a liability. I didn't get that sense at all. So why was it that they seemingly were trying to offload this guy all summer. And that those rumors did really pick up after the Club World Cup, where he was seen, playing paddle. Obviously, he rubbed somebody the wrong way. I think you can see with his, goodbye post, like, I don't think he has anything against Inter or the club, or, I think he does love the club, but something wasn't right in terms of maybe the motivation that either the management or maybe some players in the locker room needed. So from that standpoint, bring in some fresh blood and let's see how it goes. In terms of the actual pitch, there's a couple things that Akanji has that Pavard didn't have. Number one, the versatility to kick inside. Akanji, at this point in time, you would expect that he would be Akanji, Acerbi, Bastoni. But you do have the ability to go Bisek, Akanji, Bastoni, if you need to get Acerbi and De Vrij off their feet. You don't want those guys playing a ton of games. So the versatility to swap inside if you need it, that's a plus. The experience playing across all those different positions in the back line is something that Pavard didn't have. He's faster than Pavard. He's definitely faster than Pavard. They are, around the same age. But Akanji is known to be a quicker player. The other thing in terms of the system and what Chivu wants to do, you could see Pavard bringing the ball up and combining with players high up the pitch, but you never really saw him drill a long ball. Akanji can can switch the ball very easily. Has that 110% in his locker. Whether it's to start a quick counterattack or whether it's, we're overloaded on one side of the field and he needs to rip it to the other side, he has that. That's something that Pavard didn't have. The other thing that's important to know too, there's goal scoring in Akanji's game. We haven't seen shit from Pavard. One goal in 2 years. Akanji's a set piece monster and he can score outside of that as well. So I think there's a lot of reasons to say, we may have brought in ultimately a better player and a better fit for the system. I think the big negative is just that you felt short at the back to begin with, and now you're just doing, a straight swap, one player in, one player out, especially after the disappointments of some other aspects of the Mercato. That's going to be the biggest headache around that specific signing. You want him in there right from the jump. He did play both qualifiers for Switzerland. He did get on the score sheet in the first game well. He has some sort of link up with Jan Sommer. If he's playing on the right or if he's playing in the middle, you don't necessarily need to speak Inter language just yet. You have your guy Sommer that can speak, can let you know what you need to be doing potentially. And also, we're talking about a player who's got tremendous international experience with Switzerland, European experience with Dortmund and Man City. You're not throwing a kid in there like you would be doing if you were starting Bisek his first season at Inter. He is experienced. So yeah, I could see that being the move to make when we come out of the international break here. So yeah, I don't think it makes sense to do a full Mercato breakdown. We've talked enough about this, but we'll go ahead and answer your questions. At Zaid206 GTI, why Inter abandoned the Lookman transfer even when it's clear by the end of the transfer window there was no other club that came close to offer 40 to 45 that Inter had offered? I don't know why they would have abandoned it unless you didn't want to go through the hassle of basically having all the media reports say you offered 45 again on deadline day and Atalanta rejected it. What were you expecting? More humiliation? I think in all of this, like, Atalanta looks terrible. they look absolutely terrible. They were getting, loan offers from Galatasaray at the end of the window. They thought this guy was going to go to Atletico. They thought this guy would have interest in the Premier League, Arsenal, Tottenham. Nothing. They missed out on 45 million euros for what? And he's not expected to be integrated into the squad until later in the year. Obviously, this has been mentally a pretty taxing time for him. So, yeah, Atalanta looks terrible in this scenario. The biggest reason why I think Inter didn't end up getting this Lookman deal done is I think also other aspects of the Mercato they had expected to go differently. I think maybe they thought they would offload Pavard for a bigger sum earlier in the window. I think maybe they thought they would offload Hakan for a bigger sum earlier in the window. And things ultimately didn't plan out. Give me your last say on Lookman, and we can finally be done with this shit.
Yeah, I think it was just a wasted opportunity for like you said, for Atalanta. That's would have been 45 million in your coffer. You know, you were holding out for an extra 5. Is it really that big of worth it in the grand scheme of things? You know, I would say the same thing if we were trying to get something for a player. You know, like if somebody's offering us 45 for Fratesi and we are asking for 50, I'm like, buddy, he's not worth 50. Like, take what the offer is, especially if his contract's going to expire in a year. I think that's a great deal. But it is what it is. They wanted to hang on to a guy. They'd rather have someone who's disgruntled in the locker room. Maybe they don't care about locker room cancers, because I'm sure he's not going to be there and be entirely excited to be a part of that team still. So yeah,
they've had a few very public spats with some of their big players over at Atalanta. They don't seem to give a shit.
Yeah, they definitely don't, which is, to me, is insane. But it is what it is there.
This next one is asking about. This is from AYEP9558327. I don't know if I really want to keep doing this because it's been so negative with Italy and just talking about kind of the general air around Inter. But he's asking about the blame for this summer, whether it falls more on Oaktree or more on management. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I'm going to say it's more on management. I think Oaktree set their parameters early in the summer. It's on the directors to, pivot and make it work. I also think that they were willing to put forth 45 for either Kone or Lookman, which was more than whatever their agreed upon structure, around 20 to 25 million. So, I think Oaktree probably had some stuff available for them. But ultimately, like, they're the owner, they're a fund, they give the parameters, and it's on someone with the experience of a Beppe Marotta, someone with the connections of Piero Asilio to like make it work. And I just think that they shit all over their own legs this summer. That's all I want to say about this thing.
Yeah, and I'll just agree with you on that. I'm not really going to say much else in regards to that as well. And yeah, we can move on. That's it. It's the same thing. I agree with you that it's management. So
let's see how this goes. Ronald Pena, talk about Nima and his unwavering commitment to bring back old guard managers without giving Chivu a chance. So, friend of the pod, Nima believes that Chivu is going to be out by December and that Inter management has essentially set him up to fail. There are aspects of what he said that I feel like are a little bit misunderstood or misconstrued. Or at least, maybe he should have said it differently. Where to say like the management is deliberately setting him up to fail. No, like everybody here wants to succeed. Did they back him the way that they should have? No. The question about whether he's going to be out by December, let me toss a few scenarios to you, Johnny. And I know you feel passionate about this because I think we're both big Chivu guys. Not only for the fact that he's a treble hero, but I think what he wants to do would be where we need to go for this team. We need to get more aggressive. I'm always going to back a former player. I don't think that he's this knob that's in the role. I think he knows what he's doing. I think he comes across very impressive in the press conferences. And I think tactically, like, he has an idea. So December, I think we can both agree if we're out of the top 4 race, like literally not in the top 4, even if we're 3 points back, 5 points back, whatever it is, do you think he's still here?
It's tough to say. Like, I do think so. I think that he's going to be given a little bit more of leeway, and I say that for 2 reasons. One, we're not going to want to pay to terminate his contract and bring in someone else. 2, I think that despite their inefficiency in the market, I think they also know that part of what is going to go wrong is of their own doing. It has nothing to do with, Chivu. If you bring him everything that he wants and he's struggling, then you could have cause to get rid of him. If you don't do anything that the man wanted you to do, I just don't know how you could blame him and how you could, hold him at fault for that. So it's it's tough to say, but I definitely don't like the options that Nima wants, right? Are Mancini or Mourinho. Are we going to pay to bring in any of those guys?
The hilarious thing is that Mourinho would come in and do it for free. You're out of your fucking mind. You are out of your fucking mind.
Did he actually say that?
No, not him. I saw it on Inter Twitter. Just like, no. No. He's not going to take a haircut or anything. No shot. No shot
that he does it for cut cause. There's no way. Okay, he's not in the business of doing things for free. No manager is going to come in and do something for free. So I think it's a bit ridiculous to even assume that.
Not to mention, like, that's a pretty strong character versus a management who already, like, they don't want to have anyone talk about them in the media. As far as like being from Inter, they want a very calm, serene situation. They want someone that's completely bought in, and Mourinho's not that character. As much as I think Mourinho could definitely do a job if he comes back here, it's not the right fit for this team right now. If Chivu can't make an adjustment and stuff like that, but I think the desire to do like a Mancini Mourinho thing comes from like
it's
wanting to see emergence. It's like Allegri and Conte, Mourinho, and the fireworks for Serie A, and like
that's the only thing that he wants. Like really, like look, I know I troll Nima a lot, but I think that this is a bit ridiculous, and I think that the only thing that he wants is just Serie A drama. And for there to be box office, stuff going on between, like you said, Conte, Allegri, Mourinho, Gasperini, this, like going back and forth on repeat. It's not what I want. Results. I don't care about the off the field drama or who doesn't like who or who's disrespecting who in the media or who's throwing shade at this one. Like, I just want to win, plain and simple.
Yeah.
And if that's with Chivu, great. If that's with Mancini, fine. If that is with Mourinho, maybe not this year, but who knows? Who knows what happens at the end of the year? Fine as well. But like, to come in and think that like, oh, he'll come in and do a job. No, what he would come in and do is change the formation, change the tactics. He's not going to play a back three or a 3-5-2 because that's what Inzaghi did. He's going to want to instill his own methods and game plan into the players. And I feel like that would have been better if you gave him an entire offseason. I would have been okay with that. If you ended up telling me like, oh, we're going to hire Mourinho now that Inzaghi's gone, I would have been like, okay, yeah, you know what? Let's see. Maybe I would have been on board with the nostalgia and all that and been excited about the potential of him coming back and doing a job with his club. And we all know that he loves Inter, but I do think his best has passed him by. And, for those who think that, oh, Chivu can't do it, but Mourinho is going to be able to, I know Mourinho is a little bit more tactically flexible as opposed to how he was when he was here his first time, but that doesn't mean that it's going to work. It's not an automatic. So I think like we need to give Chivu a fair shot. I don't think that, unless that we are, sitting 12th come December, fine. Yeah, you want to get rid of him then? Absolutely. Maybe you don't even want to let it go that long because we saw how quickly we were to get rid of De Boer, to get rid of Gasperini when they had their poor starts. But we won our first game 5-0. And unfortunately, we lost to Udinese.
In a game that, like, we should have won that. Like, let's not act like...
Exactly. We should have won that. We were in control. A stupid fluke penalty happens. And then, even when we were down, I think I saw more fight and a more willingness to go after the result than I had under any time with Inzaghi, if we're being quite honest. So there is a little bit of hope there. I'm not going to just cast them. Like, if we lost both games, fine, a little bit of a warning bell, right?
Yeah.
But we won easily our first match. Granted, it's a Torino side that's taken a few steps back. Still, we did what we had to do against them, which is dispatch them easily. And then we struggled in a game, but I don't think we played poorly. Like yes, you could look at the result as a negative, but if you look at the performance, there is good things there, and I'm not going to just automatically assume that like that's it. The sky's falling.
I think Chivu is a good communicator. I'm already bought into his ability to communicate. I'm buying into the fact that Chivu is the kind of person that can motivate these guys. The question becomes, you knew all summer that this guy wanted to play a certain style. Everyone in the world is saying that you didn't give him the players that he wants. So now there's only a few ways this thing could play out. He either stays with the tactics and the philosophy that he wants to play with, and the players are able to do it, or they're not able to do it. If they're able to do it, we're going to be fine. If they're not able to do it, then Chivu, as a manager, has to say, okay, even though you guys didn't do shit for me this summer like you should have, I'll adjust and we'll get these players into a system that's more comfortable. If they do that and they're able to win and keep, stay competitive, all good. He's not going anywhere. If he changes system and they still can't get it going, I still have more concerns about management and the players than I do about Chivu. Because then it tells me, like, if they start adopting a system that they've had a lot of success with over the years, then they're finished mentally. They're not there, and that's on the players and management for not rejuvenating the team even more. Chivu probably takes the fall for it, but in those scenarios, show me where Chivu is the problem. If he stays with it and they succeed, good. If they don't, management didn't give him what he wanted. If he changes and they succeed, great. If he changes and they don't succeed, it's still probably not on him. And as far as the Mourinho and the Mancini discussion and all that stuff, I'd rather have a Claudio Ranieri come in mid-season than Mourinho. You're just setting the stage for...
Wild. Wow, that's a hot take. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I would have to think about it, but I think that's it's spicy. I like it.
The amount of tumultuousness around this club, if we are in a situation where we're sacking our coach after what happened last year, it's going to be so fucking hot that maybe from a nostalgia perspective and maybe from like a fan excitement, Mourinho would be the right move. But character-wise, it's probably someone like Ranieri.
But there is no one else like Ranieri.
No,
like, he's not leaving Roma. Obviously,
no, he's not. He's
know,
not.
I know what you're saying. Like, but I'm just saying, like, we know he's not going to leave. If that was the name that they were interested in, I'm saying,
yeah,
he didn't want to come help the national team, which we all know. I would have felt infinitely better with him as the manager. Anyway,
they wanted. He told them no.
I know.
He told them no.
He's definitely going to tell. He would definitely tell us no. Is what 100%, I was getting at.
100%. But you get what I'm saying. Like,
yes,
you're just pouring. It would be so hot, and you're going to add Mourinho to that?
Let me throw some names out, though, just out of curiosity. I'm not saying that they're even a shot, but I'm just curious. That are available.
Yeah.
Palladino.
As far as what I know about Palladino, he's a system coach. And I don't know that handing over the reins to a team that you can't really do much to. They're not... If let's say he comes in January, how much business can they do in January to get Palladino what he needs? He doesn't play the same kind of 3-5-2 that Inzaghi played. It is still a little bit more aggressive. So I still don't know that we have the team from it. And I get worried about having a system coach come in as the mid-season replacement, because I think that needs to be more of like a flexible and high quality character kind of guy. But I do like Palladino.
I'm not saying that this is the name that we would ever go after. And in this one, I'm about to say, I'm just more curious. He's not even available. But what about Maresca? One, do you think he would ever leave Chelsea? Probably not, because of the money that they're throwing around for him. But two, I'm some people rant and rave about him, and I know we're kind of getting off on a little bit of a tangent here, but I do just want to ask this. Rant and rave about. I don't see what he does that is so great that warrants this level of attention for him.
They are a much better side this year, in my opinion, than what we saw early on in his tenure. But obviously he's had more time. The reason why he is respected to the level that he's respected is because, I mean, A, yes, the team is they look good, but B, he comes from the Pep Guardiola tree, which automatically adds this level of like panache to these guys. I wasn't as critical of the signing when they brought him in as a lot of people were. But I'm also not like pounding my fist for it. I don't think he'd be the right tactical fit either.
I would agree with that.
There was a manager that got fired today that is interesting.
Who?
Nuno Espirito Santo.
Stop that.
He had Nottingham Forest in Europe.
He did, but I don't.
By
don't like
counts, it was the owner and the director.
The owner's a psychopath. Let's get that out there first. But
yes,
you know who I would have been more excited about, and now I know it's not going to happen. Like, he would have to agree. But Francesco Farioli. And
that's
if you look,
suicide ball though.
I don't know, man. I think it could work.
I
think it could work.
Crash the box with 8 guys. Like,
bro,
makes me a little scared with
4 matches. He's at Porto now. 4 matches.
Yeah.
4 wins.
Mm-hmm.
11 goals for, 1 goal allowed.
I hear what you're saying. I think you know his sides are. It's like blitzkrieg. Like, it's just.
Yeah. And
I
think that it would be something that you don't see in Serie A that would definitely turn the league on its head. And I think it could probably have maybe a 2-year window max before teams adjust.
Your boy is their right center back, Nejuan Perez. And that Froholt kid is really good too. But anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway.
It's interesting to think about. You know, I think that talking about here's my final thing to Nima. Again, close friend of the pod. Grateful for everything. But I have to say, who are his favorites? Allegri, that's one of his favorites, right? How many points does he have after 2 matches in Serie A with Milan this year? 3.
Does he have 3? Okay.
He's got 3. Conte, one of Nima's favorites, right? How many points last year that they won the title did he have after 2 games?
I think after 2 games he had 1 point, maybe 3. He definitely lost his first game.
I thought it was 3, but
okay, maybe it is
3 points. How many points does Chivu have after 2 games in Serie A? 3. So, like, let's watch this thing play out a little bit. Let's watch this thing play. You always had this idea that Conte would be able to turn around in Napoli. Sure, but that first game, they lost 3-0 to a trash Verona team. Mm-hmm. Allegri lost to Cremonese 2-1. It's going to happen. And guess what? Out of all those 3 games where these big coaches dropped points early on in the season, Inter looked the best against Udinese. Sometimes shit doesn't go your way. But we already are having the discussion what's going to happen to Chivu in December. Stop it. Stop. And I understand what it's going to look like if that Derby d'Italia doesn't go well. Yeah, I understand.
Like, honestly, like, of course I want to win, but I'm okay with a draw, especially since it's at Juve. Like, I think we need to understand that and be, you know, a little bit more reserved in on our expectations for sure.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that game.
Same.
Not looking forward to it. All right, let's get past this crazy Chivu discussion. Let's go to Intertwined.
Okay, I was hoping it would be a different one, but okay, go ahead.
This one was the what's the plan B under Chivu with Zielinski and Boni in the last 15 minutes instead of the 4 strikers. I think Zielinski and Boni were on in the last 15 minutes against Udinese, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to answer this, and also we're pretty far removed from Udinese. So do you want to go into the Primavera and U23?
Yes, that's what I wanted to talk about.
Let's do it. So what do you want to talk about?
I mean, look, I know somebody asked about like the U23. I don't know if they were asking about specific players. I wouldn't mind mentioning a few of them. Like obviously,
let's say who we're excited for.
I mean, Luka Tupalovic. First game, it was against Novara, Serie C. He scored. It ended in. First of all, we've got two draws in our first 2 matches. But there have been some things that have been nice to see, like Topalovic getting on the score sheet. Antonino Lagumina, that 27-year-old guy playing for the U23s or 28, whatever he is.
I think he's older. I think he's like 32. Hold on.
No, he's not that old. Hold on.
Let me pull him up.
Lagumina is... Oh, shoot. He's 29. Okay. So
yeah.
Fine. 29-year-old playing for the U23s. 2 games and 2 goals. He scored 2 goals in the last game that we also drew 2-2. There's obviously Bedenbrook, who's a midfielder that I think could actually have a role in this team in the future. Maybe not now. Kamate, Francesco Stante as a defender. I'm trying to think if there was anybody else that I really liked. Actually, let me pull up. Oh, Mattia Zanchetta was a midfielder that I think could do a job.
I think he was with the Italy U19s this break too.
He was, yes. And one thing that I'm worried about, because I had high hopes for him, is Jan Zuberek. I checked his numbers. Since he's gone to like senior career, technically, he was on loan at Ternana, 1 game, 0 goals. He was with Lecco, 15 games, 0 goals. Avellino, 12 games, 0 goals. You're a striker. Like, we need you to start scoring some goals here. Especially with that height. I think he did have, some high expectations. We did sign him from Spal. That's one thing that I would hope that we're able to see some development there. Obviously, we have our old, what's it called? Primavera coaching these guys, and Stefano Vecchi, who did, have a little bit of a role managing the senior team with Inter. I think he was here, caretaker in like 16 and 17, I think he did. Like 2 separate ones that he did do. Now, he did go, 3 wins and 2 losses in like the 5 games that he did. But, Vecchi came in. I think that was when we lost
2016, 2017.
Was that when we went Ranieri to Pioli? Or Pioli to Ranieri? I think it was one of those.
Forget exactly when.
Let me see. Now I'm going to managerial history.
Oh, they sacked Pioli.
Oh no, they sacked Frank de Boer, brought in Vecchi, brought in Pioli, and then they sacked him again.
Yep.
Dang. Yep. I was actually excited about Pioli. Anyway, but it's good to have him with the U23s. He understands what it means to be at the club and manage the club, and I think that he would be able to work well with some of these young players.
Yeah. I'm going to go through all the guys that I'm paying attention to, and I'll give you...
By the way, if you are outside of Italy, you go to FIFA Plus, and you can watch the U23 on their streaming service. You just have to make a free account, and you're able to watch those games.
That's a good call. Spinace started up front for the Padova game that Inter played, the friendly that's in between, the international break. He's a player that we've heard a lot about. He's gotten a lot of playing time for the Primavera. Don't think he has much of a future at Inter. It looks like he could be a player, but I don't think it's going to be for Inter. He's not going to get playing time over the top four. And then even if there is an injury, I do expect Chivu will just change formation. And then even next year, like if Thuram is gone, Lautaro is gone, Boni, Bielsa, any one of them, Spinacha is not getting the call to come into the team. So I don't think he's going to be a guy to keep an eye on as a future Inter player. Kamate and Topalovic in the midfield, I think they'll probably get minutes for Inter at some point this season. Whether it be at the end of the game, whatever it is, I think Chivu will give them minutes. Obviously, Topalovic has the big pedigree, but I think Kamate is an interesting player as well. They signed a Romanian left wing back, Antonio David, just called up to the Romania U21s. Pretty good player. He's 21 years old. I'm curious to see if he gets some minutes. You have Augusto rotating between left wing back and left center back. You do have Luis Enrique and Darmian that can play over there in a pinch. But between Antonio David and Matteo Cocchi, those are two pretty talented guys coming up to potentially take that spot in the future. Alexiou, I actually really like him. And I never like Primavera center backs, but I think Alexiou is pretty good. Do I feel good about him coming in? They have to make big replacements for the center back position, and I think they go with names or prospects that are a little bit further along than Alexiou. So I don't know about him. Richie Agbonifo came into the team. He looks like a really skillful player. Don't have high hopes that we'll see much of him this year. Receconi, good player. Don't think we'll see much. Matteo Mosconi, he's further away. I think he's 16 or 17. But talented player, known to be a part of the Italy youth setup. Let me see if there's anyone else that I think is worth talking about.
I do have one name that I am paying attention to on the Primavera side, not the U23 side.
Yep.
And it's Thiago Romano. He's the winger that we brought in from Panathinaikos. He had a decent season last year, nothing too insanely, exciting. This year, he's got 3 matches so far, 1 assist. I think that there is a special player there. I don't know if he's going to ever have a role at this club. Obviously, we don't play a winger system, and he kind of gets deployed sometimes as a wide striker, sometimes as a midfielder as well. But he is naturally a winger, and I think that is kind of hurting his chances of moving up and breaking out with the U23 team potentially. And then I was
hurt a lot last year. That's got to be something to keep an eye on too.
Yeah, but so far this year, getting started, he does look pretty healthy. Obviously, it's only 3 games, but and one thing I do like, I mean, you did mention Alexiou. I do think that he is a strong defender. My only concern with him, height. He's only 6 feet tall. I would want, unless he's going to play like a right or a left center back role, but I do like my center backs to be a little bit taller, especially when you're going up against big, strong forwards like there are in Serie A. That's the only thing that I think kind of concerns me with him.
Yep. Idrisu, the striker, and Ballo, the right back, they are part of Italy's youth setup. So those are names to keep an eye on. Vukoye, the 16-year-old Montenegrin, 17-year-old now. From what I've heard of him, he's pretty good. I haven't, I'll be totally honest with you guys, I haven't seen much of him. Yeah, but some exciting guys. I mean, this feels like the first time we can talk about youth players in forever because we actually have a coach that might play them at some point.
Might play them, yeah.
All right, Johnny, we gave the people an hour and 8 minutes of international break musings. Anything else you want to say before we pop out of here?
Do you want to go do our maybe combined or what our dream starting 11 would be for this derby matchup
of current players?
Yeah. Like who would we want to see play this game?
Our dream starting 11 combined of Juventus and Inter, or combined
no.
of just Inter?
Just us, going position by position and seeing if we can agree on those things.
You want to go 3-5-2 or you want to switch it up?
I think we stick with the 3-5-2 because I think that's what's going to be used anyway. So
okay, can I tell you 110% who's starting?
You want to? What are we betting here or
first name on the team sheet? I can almost guarantee it.
It's Bastoni.
No. Well, yes, he's going to be in there, but just to make this very clear to everyone, Henrik Mkhitaryan is starting the Derby d'Italia. Without question, I promise you he is. I
don't. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me one bit. I don't disagree with you one bit. I think that he is going to be the first name on the team sheet without question.
Listen, he didn't. He's got the minutes on his legs. How did Barella need to play this much over the international break? Come on.
Yes, he did. Because look at the alternatives. No offense, people are excited. Tony, I love you, I really do. I wasn't blown away by anything that Fratesi did. It's the same stuff that he does every time.
That was a nice little assist today, though.
He gets in the box, and it's
Minkia, even Sucic.
It is what it is. Yeah,
Sucic played a lot. I think 2 90-minute games.
Sucic played a lot. But I think it's going to be Bastoni. Going to say I'm hoping for Akanji. And I'm horrified that it's going to be Bisek.
It's going to be Bastoni, Acerbi, without question. And then Acerbi, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Listen, Chivu has been staring Acerbi and Mkhitaryan in the face for over a week now. You think that, it's not getting
can I get the check, please? Just a check.
Those old bastards charmed him.
I'm done. No shot he should be playing. Anyway.
They were definitely both playing by the time Chivu retired, right?
Do we think
there was overlap?
Acerbi for sure. I think Acerbi and Mkhitaryan were both playing. Yes, they were.
There had to be.
Would you play? So would you go Mkhitaryan, Sucic, Barella, and that's the midfield?
That's a good call because I was going to say that exact thing. Hakan, people are pissed. The Turkish fans are not happy with his performance this international break. I think I'll go Barella, Sucic, and
I think he's got to go.
Barella, Sucic, Mickey might be the way to go moving forward. We talked about this a little bit.
Yeah. We did talk about this, and then our typical 2 wing backs that we expect to start, and then.
Dumfries for sure.
I think Di Marco plays
in the Derby d'Italia.
What?
I don't know. He's not going to start Enrique in the Derby d'Italia.
I think hot take. I would actually rather start Carlos Augusto.
Me too. I was going to say that.
Di Marco
but do I want to commit to
tired legs, or would you rather be the other way where you bring on Carlos Augusto against tired legs, defending a lead if you have it?
And Carlos scored a goal in the friendly. Not that these things matter, but if you have Mkhitaryan scoring in the friendly...
I do not care about who scored in that friendly. And I'm sorry, you were getting a little hyped over Andy Doof.
I have to defend myself here. Everyone was like, it's just a friendly. Guys, I fucking know it was a friendly, but I'm an Inter fan. I can't get excited about a guy. Let me
that was you and me playing. We were playing for Padova that game. That's how we would have defended him.
I didn't say he was the best player in the world. I said
no, you didn't.
Nice goal. I'm excited. I want to see the kid succeed.
Sure. All right.
I'm gonna go Di Marco. Anyway. Yep.
Yeah, I think so too. And then well, there's rumors that Lautaro might not be able to play or, this game because of playing in Argentina. So if that's true, Boni Thuram or Pio Thuram?
Boni Thuram?
It's crazy. I'm not even mad if it's either one. I'm not mad. I might go Boni Thuram and just gas all day, just attacking that back line. Oh, my gosh.
Bremer's like, which one?
Yeah, Bremer's cooked. Kalulu is cooked.
Thuram. I mean, if we're being honest, we got to see that at some point this year. Those two, just them
But
two.
But I want to see it against quality defense. Like I don't want to see it against. I don't know. I'm trying to think of Pisa. You know, like I want to see it against.
You know, I have this thought that Boni's passing and like deeper play is a lot better and a lot more advanced than I realized. This is a couple games now. The slip through for Mkhitaryan where he barely saw him, but he laid off a perfect pass, and I forget exactly Udinese what the pass was, but I know I was impressed with some build up there. Yeah, I could want to see it. I think Boni Thuram would be better than Pio Thuram because I don't want to give Bremer a static target.
Preach. Although I think Pio would body him in the air, bro. Anyway.
All right. Well, when is the Derby d'Italia?
I hope it's not Saturday. Oh,
I hope it's not Sunday.
You hope it's not Sunday?
Yeah. 9:13.
It is Saturday. No, I'm gonna be at work. Oh my gosh, bro.
Fuck yes. What a baptism on Sunday. Thank God.
Hey everybody, let's all be happy for Alessandro getting things to go his way. Who cares about what I want? Actually, I might be able to go into work around noonish, so maybe I can.
If you guys were able to stop work for Italy, Israel, you can't do it for the Derby d'Italia. Come on.
I mean, maybe, but our sporting director, who's a Juventino, doesn't come in till 4:30 because it's a night. We have a game at night, and I'm the only Interista.
Show up early.
But I want to record. That's the thing. I want to record, like right after the match.
I'm gonna be on a bus to Jersey at some point. We need to coordinate this.
Okay. Anyway,
All right. Guys, all the love in the world to Johnny's mother. She's a wonderful person, and obviously, you know, Johnny wouldn't be here without her. So, prayers to is it Mrs. Paterno? No,
it's yeah. They're not married. They're not married anymore.
So. I see. Prayers to your mother, brother. And thanks for making the time today.
Thanks for helping me get distracted. So I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I appreciate our whole Inter community. So yeah.
In the words of the great Roberto Scarpini, forza ragazzi, forza ragazzi, forza ragazzi.